Hey everybody, welcome to I Can't Shut Up Unless You Tell Me To here on HIMediaTV. I've been getting a lot of old, just people doing a lot of hindsights on Steam versus Epic and all of the shenanigans that happened with that. For those who are unaware, the Epic Games Store is a serviceable game store that also gives out a lot of games for free, which is fine, great. The problem is that there was a there's a bit of a problem that a lot of folks who are PC gamers were upset with, and that was the fact that Epic routinely would sort of force exclusivity between not the platform PC, but between marketplaces. So for on PC, you have, the king of all of PC gaming, Valve, and they got to this point basically by doing a couple things, right? So it came out and it was a clunky sack of shit early on, but I wasn't there for that. I was part of the wave that came with the release of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. That release and the subsequent workshop that came with it in terms of mod support generally did kind of explode and create a solid base for PC gamers. I now have damn near 1,000 games on Steam that I have accrued over my 10 years of use of over 10 years of use of the platform. I've been using it since I was a 13, 14-year-old boy, and I'm a 26-year-old man now. And, back in ye olden days of, I think it was, 2019, 2020, when the Epic Games Store was basically, Epic took all of the money that they had been just making off of the money printer that was Fortnite and used it and put it back into a game store. Now, Epic had a lot of lofty goals. They fought against Apple for 30% that Apple takes out of their thing. They're just basically fighting against anybody who had platform holders that were charging 30% per transaction, things that Steam does, things that Epic Games does, yada 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 yada. Now here's the thing about that. Steam does have a thing where people sign saying you can sell your game for whatever you want, but you can't sell it on other platforms for less than what you would sell it for on Steam. Fairly restrictive, and I'll give them that. That's probably not the nicest thing to have for developers, but broadly speaking, Steam, I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt, because for those who are aware, I am very much not a fan of big corporations, even ones that have products that I like and use. And Steam is interesting to me because the problem is all of the rhetoric that Epic Games was using fighting against monopolies and all that stuff, they were still building a store, and they were buying out indie titles for year-long or permanent exclusivity on their platforms. There was a whole period where Epic was just giving oh, here's all the money you would need to make this game a success plus 20%, make it an Epic Games Store exclusive. And so many games were kind of thrown into the void with that. I remember Borderlands 3 had a relatively muted opening because of that. You had people like me who bought it on Epic because we wanted to play fucking Borderlands immediately, and then the game exploded after it released on Steam with plus a couple of the DLC, which is just as an allegory, we could take Apex Legends, which had an explosive opening weekend and then kind of just started to fall off and become a dying game until they made the decision to stop making it a Origins, EA's platform exclusive, and put it on Steam. And now Apex is basically grown up Fortnite. Everyone that isn't playing Fortnite or Valorant as their main arena shooter is playing Apex, which is fine, great. I mean, like, but like, it just goes to show that putting your games on Steam is super duper is like to show that that's where most people are. Like, most people are on Steam, but why are most people on Steam? Well, it's because everybody else is on Steam. But why do people stay on Steam? I don't want to like jerk off, Steam, like Valve too much here, but part of the benefits of being a private corporation, especially one with a almost worker cooperative sort of structure in Valve, which is kind of like, from what I gather, like how their business is structured. Valve is very much able to they basically take 30% off of every game sale. Not insignificant. Absolutely not insignificant. But functionally, they take that money and they reinvest it back into the product. And when and they don't just say that they do that, they don't ever say that they do that. You never hear from Valve, but you see it in advent of like things like the Steam Deck, which is like their newest thing. But before that, the time into dev hours they were putting into making Linux gaming through Steam like much more viable, making games through Linux Photon and things of that nature. Or you have things like their integral multiplayer framework, which unlike Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo, you don't have to pay for. If you're a games dev and you're got multiplayer in your game and you want to integrate that through Steam and have Steam handle that, you can do that. And I, as the end user, don't have to pay for that. It's magical, and they say that like people say, oh, how you, like the reason why Steam didn't exist before this is because I don't think the technology was there in the early 2000s. I mean, it might have been, but pragmatically, like what like it's it's like that old adage, like piracy is a service problem, not a money problem. Like the two groups of people that pirate are people that can't afford it or don't have access to the game, i.e. people who like people who are under sanction in like Russia. They don't have the ability to get those games. And a lot of game developers are more than happy to let people like who don't have other access to the game. They're happy to let them pirate because they want people to experience those games. But if the problem is price, if you are in a country where $20 USD converted to your local currency is a lot for like the amount of game you're getting, you might as well just fucking pirate it. And I'm not advocating for piracy, but I'm a Nintendo fan. I love Nintendo products, and Nintendo is notoriously god awful for its treatment of its legacy products. So many pieces of Nintendo software could legally be considered abandonware functionally. And just for example, with Nintendo, recently killing like it's happening this coming April, they're shutting off online connectivity for the Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS. If you go on my Twitter, I literally put out a tweet the other day that basically said, basically saying I'm deliberately going to jailbreak and pirate the software that you no longer allow me to purchase and use legally. Because of course, it's disgusting that it is grotesque and disgusting like that. Kind of people do that, but that's not what we're talking about. The reason why I brought up it and I did that whole tangent was because Steam fundamentally, at the end of the day, made it easier to buy games than it is to pirate them. And that's huge. Like, it's super easy to pirate old Nintendo games. I just go to, I don't know, Cool ROMs or, Emulation Station or whatever, and one of those weird links, and just, it's easy. It's easy as pie. ISO Fool, ISO Love, like all that shit. Yeah, I have no problem. And I have no problem, doing that back in the day when I was a kid. I'm a grown ass man now. I can buy the shit. say all this to be legally not culpable. But broadly speaking, like Steam did the impossible of making it easy, of like solving that service issue, and they continue to and in line with like making like they want people to keep using their service. They want people to grow and accentuate this base simply for the fact that that having this base like shows them like their power in the marketplace, and they don't have to do anything aside from continue to refine and make this product better, and then everything's fine. Like Epic just had to cut, I think, like 9% of their workforce, like something like 700 employees they had to fire, and they were in millions of dollars in loss. And this came out like a few weeks ago, and you know, Epic was constantly pegging and jabbing at Steam, trying to get them to like do something in response to their 12% cut for developers. The problem is that, yeah, 12% cut from developers is nice, but nobody's fucking using it. Like, I want people to use Ko-Fi to like give me like donos and subscriptions and stuff, but like most people, like, I still have patrons who haven't moved over to who didn't move over to Discord, and I still have live patrons who are paying there. I don't know. It's, you know, you can't. It's hard. Like, it's hard to get people to like who are already like investing money in a platform to move somewhere else. And Tim Sweeney, despite like being, you know, despite using a lot of his money to, you know, do a lot of conservation in Appalachia, which I respect and appreciate. You know, at the end of the day, it's like he's swung hard, and he's by and large missed a lot. Apple is draking them over the coals in court, and Valve did, like, it's literally that meme of Luigi and Mario Party doing nothing and winning. Valve reigns supreme. All the games that like get, once they're out of their exclusivity and they go to Steam, they have a renewed burst in popularity. Because, like, a lot of people who just didn't know they were on Epics, who don't keep up with, like, those types of things, like neurotic fools like me do. It is what it is. And so, it's like, I'm sure that Epic is going to, like, continue being huge. And I'm sure, and yes, is the fact that Steam, that is technically a monopoly, is a bit of a problem. But at the end of the day, it's like, Epic Games wants to be what Steam is. They want to be a platform where everybody's on, hence why they've tried to get everything under the sun to get people to move over. And I don't even log into Epic to claim a free game every week. I don't feel the need. And most people just log in, like open it up for Fortnite, claim a free game that they like every week, and then close it again. Fundamentally, I don't like monopolies. You know, that's just my politics. But better the devil you know than the devil you don't. And Valve, as far as devils go, is a pretty fucking benevolent one. You know, certain contracts that developers have to be locked into, yeah, sure, maybe those are a bit of a problem. But broadly speaking, you know, given Epic's anti-consumer choices and inability to fucking update their store to have features remotely close to what Steam launched with, I don't know. You know, maybe the Epic Game Store will have like robust community forums, voice chat that works all the time, and all that stuff. But I'm not counting on it, because Steam already exists and it does it way better. And developers they may not want to pay the 30%, but they're already paying it everywhere else except on Epic. And at the end of the day, when you run a business, you got to go where the customers are. And Steam is where the customers are. And that's just reality.